So I thought I'd give you guys a chance to enjoy the sunrise with me while I share this story with you of why I love this part of the beach so much. So me and this part of the beach has a lot of history together. People say that the gay part is over here, I guess. Like gay people stay over here in this part, but this is all families. This is part of the beach where they play volleyball, a lot of beautiful women. Also, if you come on a certain day of the year, I'm not sure what day it is, but there's a group of sorority women that make it part of their sorority or part of their habit to come out here and get butt naked and run into that water and hang out in the sand. And I know this because I accidentally walked upon them one night when I was walking the beach, doing kickboxing and stuff, and hanging out with my ex on the beach. No, that night we were just hanging out on the beach, but we walked upon a group of women and we asked them what they were doing, and they were out here doing a thing where they come out here once a year and they get butt naked and go into the ocean and swim and then come back out. And they were all butt naked, and we sat there and had a conversation. Yes, this is a real thing, and no, I did not make that up. So, yeah, that's one reason why this is my favorite part, and I probably should not have started with that, but it was the first thing that came to mind. So, second part of why I love this part of the beach in Long Beach is because I used to go fishing. There's a pier. It's over there. Okay. I used to go fishing on that pier over there with my grandma and my uncle. My grandma, see the pier? That's the pier out there. Yeah, they broke it down and rebuilt it and stuff, but my grandma used to take me when she had custody of me in foster care, because a lot of people had custody of me in foster care. My grandma used to take me over there to go fishing to stay out of trouble. So I was always into something. I was always in trouble. I did a lot of trouble things. So yeah, that's another reason this is my favorite part. Oh yeah, and I used to rollerblade when I was a kid a lot, because that was one of the only ways I could make it from A to B when I ran away from foster homes and group homes and shit. I'd run away and ride my rollerblades all the way back to Long Beach, or back catch buses and ride my rollerblades all the way back to Long Beach and Riverside or wherever I wanted to go to. But I'd always come back to Long Beach and I'd sleep on the beach right here when my mom would kick me out. My mom would, when I would run away from foster homes and stuff, my mom would tell me to not come back to her house because she was harboring a fugitive and she could get in trouble, so I'd have to sleep on the streets. And a lot of the times I would go sleep. You see those hills over there? This looks so beautiful, right? This is actually the beach, so those hills over there, there's a bunch of hills over there. That's where they like pile all the sand up or whatever. Yeah, those hills over there, I used to sleep in those. I would run away from foster homes and stuff. So yeah, and there's that. There's just one reason why I like this place, is because the hills used to keep me safe at night when I was asleep. I'd have a place to sleep. There's actually not a lot of people go on the beach at night. Pretty sure the beach is closed and stuff, but you could get away with it. That's another reason I like this beach, because the beach is closed, but you could get away with walking down the beach or something, or doing something on the beach. It won't bother you as long as you're not causing no problems. All the beautiful lights out there in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, that was another reason I love this part of the beach. So when I was 2 years old, going on 3 years old, I got burnt down in a house. I burnt my house down trying to make dog gravy, and there was a lady. Her name was Cheryl, and she had a kid named Matthew and a kid named Kevin, and she was my father. There was Mark also. That was the father. He was a post office person, but he delivered mail. yeah, that was my family when I got taken away, and that was one of the best foster families I've had, actually. And I've had over 20 something foster families or whatever. I've had a lot of foster families. So what I did is I stayed with them for a year, 2 years, or 3 years, or something like that, while I was healing, because I had got taken away from my mom because I couldn't stay with her because of how everything happened from me burning down my house and stuff. She was at bingo, playing bingo, and I ended up burning down my house, burning down our house. So anyways, I ended up at this foster home, and I used to come down here all the time. She would bring me down here, and she would take me to the Round Table Pizza, and we would play in the video games and arcades all day long. On days I didn't have to go to school and stuff, she'd bring us out here, and we would play on this beach and stuff, and we had a good old time out here. She was a really good foster family. They were a really good foster family. She was a really good woman. She used to make me sloppy joes and stuff. That's where I learned out what sloppy joes was. So yeah, that's another reason I love this beach. And I used to have this friend. He stayed over there somewhere, and he would come from over there, and he would go over to the pier over there, and his name was Douglas Zerby. And he would come over to the pier, and he'd be a little buzzed, but he'd come over there and teach me stuff about fishing, or tell me about fishing, or tell me about his life, or tell me about stories and stuff, and tell stories and hang out, and mostly just hang out and watch fishing, talk to people about fishing and stuff like that. And watch the water, and you just hang out with us all day. Sometimes borrow a bowl or something and hang out with us. But so anyways, yeah, that's another reason. Douglas Irby got shot over there by the police. Police surrounded him and killed him without him mentioning they were there or anything. They just surrounded him, and he was playing with the water hose nozzle, and they shot him and killed him. So yeah, I got memories of my homeboy, my friend. Used to come visit me when I was a kid, Douglas, and then we called him Doug. We didn't call him Douglas. So that's another reason. And then I used to be a partier, and when I would party, I would come out here and hang out with my ex-girlfriend. We had a lot of fun out here. It was a very fun place. So that's another reason. I got a lot of good memories out here. With good people. Majority of the memories I have out here are with really good people, actually. Also, okay, so there's this lady, Deborah Ann Peters. She is a self-help coach. She passed away from cancer. Rest in peace, Miss Peters. But she was one of the people that mentored me and looked out for me, because she knew I was getting in trouble, and she knew I was over there running the streets and shit. Like, not a lot of people knew that, you know what I mean? Because I was scared to death of my mom, and I was scared to death of letting my aunt down. I wasn't scared to death of my aunt because my aunt was never really physical with me. She wasn't a very violent person, but my mom was very violent, and I was scared the shit out of my mom. I was scared to death of my mom. I was more scared of my mom than I've ever been of any man, because my mom tried to take my life a couple times. My Aunt Charlene, I was more scared of letting her down. I really had a lot of love and respect for her, and I never wanted to let her down, but I always ended up doing it anyways, because I had a problem with getting into a lot of shit when I was a kid, and I used to start a lot of stuff, and a lot of people used to be able to manipulate me because I was like a little puppet. People used to manipulate me with their feelings, and their feeling bad for them and stuff, and sometimes I would hurt other people just to make the person I was trying to make feel better. I would hurt another person. Like, I didn't understand the concept of loyalty to a person that has loyalty to you, or not even that. I didn't understand the concept of some people you cannot be loyal to, and some people you have to be loyal to. And I was not very loyal or respectful to my aunt at all times because my mom would manipulate me, and then I would act like a jackass to my aunt. So overall, I would be more scared of letting my aunt down than my mom. And nobody knew. Well, people knew kind of, but they didn't know to what extent I was doing things or what kind of extent I was getting into stuff, because most of the time I would run away and I would spend my time on the streets, sleeping on the streets, or hanging out on the streets. A lot of the gangs took care of me. When I was out here, a lot of the 20s Crips took care of me. They looked out for me a lot. A lot of the people that my mom knew, they wouldn't look out for me because my mom would tell them not to. So I really didn't have those friends that she had. I had a whole different set of friends. I had like a lot of the OGs from 20s and stuff. Remember, there was a couple times. There was one time I sold weed to Snoop Dogg. There was one time I watched Sublime in their garage on 3rd and Daisy, or over by 3rd and Daisy, practicing. But yeah, so Miss Deborah Ann Peters, I don't know how I got off track, but Miss Deborah Ann Peters, she was one of the people that knew that I was really getting into stuff and that I was really gangbanging really hard. And one time she had caught me with a weapon on me, and she had asked me, like, what are you doing this for? Why do you have that? And she's like, you seem like such a good kid. I would never expect that from you. And it's like, I told her straight out, like, yeah, I seem like a really good kid, but yeah, I get into some shit, like, and please don't tell my mom because my mom will murder me. And she said, no, I ain't gonna tell on you, but I want to show you how to do things different. So Miss Deborah Ann Peters took me under her wing, even though my mom hated her because my mom was sleeping with her boyfriend. My mom slept with everybody's boyfriend though, but my mom hated her because she slept with her boyfriend. And my dad's side of the family, my aunt and them, they hated her because she thought outside the box and wasn't a very religious person, like Jesus this and Jesus that. And that's my aunt. My aunt's a very religious person. Everything's about Jesus and sins and all that crap. So anyways, so Miss Peters asked me, she's like, what are you doing this for? And I'm like, because this is all I know, like, I can't let my mom know because even though I learned most of this crap from her, she will kill me if she finds out. She already told me that if I ever end up in gangs, she will kill me. So I basically lied to my mom until I turned 18. I lied to everybody in my family until I turned 18 because I didn't want to get caught. But some of the people that they knew, and when they found out, they would mentor me. Well, some of them will mentor me. Some will give me a lecture. Some will tell me they're going to tell my mom. But thank God they never did, because my mom would have really killed me. So, anyways, Miss Peters, she took me under her wing. She dealt with a lot of bullshit from my family. My family was hating on her and calling her all kinds of names and making up accusations. That's what my family does. My family is an accusation type family. They make up accusations and hope that it sticks because they made it up and they said it, so it must be true, even though it's furthest thing from the truth. So Miss Peters said, even though she was dealing with all that repercussions of helping me, she still took me under her wing. She took me to Century City where she worked. She had her own business doing motivational coaching. She would take me out. She would pick me up. We lived on 4th and Cerritos. And she would pick me up. Sometimes I'd be run away from a foster home. She would take me to Century City to work for her business. And then she showed me how to open a bank account. I've never even knew what a bank account was or heard of a bank account or knew they existed or anything. Miss Peters showed me how to do a bank account. She helped me open a bank account. Showed me what they're for. She showed me about stock market. She showed me a little bit about that, what it is, what it's about. She also she gave me a very hard work ethic because she showed me that anything you want is going to be something that you have to work for. It's not going to be something that you get given. So she showed me a lot of that. She was one of the people to show me that. So Miss Peters would take me out to all kinds of events and stuff. We went to like the haunted. She knew I didn't go to many places. I was always on the streets and stuff, so she would take me out to different places and stuff. And like my family, anybody that's doing anything nice for you, you have to be having sex with them. Which Miss Peters would not do that. She was a very good person. She was a very solid person. She was my mentor. That's all she was. She was a very good mentor, actually. She was one of the best mentors I've had. She taught me to always think positive and try to do positive, and how to be a calm, well, not calm, collected, but a responsible adult. She taught me responsibility a lot. So, anyways, she would take me out to different places. We went to there all the way down there. That's downtown that way, okay? So all the way down there's the haunted Queen Mary and stuff. Miss Peters took me to the haunted Queen Mary a few times. She took me all kinds of different places, like any kind of event that she thought would be productive and keep me out of trouble. She would take me to it, and like she would pay for all of it and everything out of her pocket. You know what I mean? And like when she passed away of cancer, and she didn't have no money, and she ended up depleting all her funds and stuff. And that's because she was always doing for other people. She was a very good person. So that's one of the other memories I got down here. Miss Peters, she would always help me out and look out for me and mentor me and show me a better way of doing things. So yeah, I got Miss Peters. That's one of the good memories I have out here. I used to rollerblade all the way from the sand dunes, which are over there where all the hills are. There's a bunch of hills over there. I like that sand dune right there. That's a hill, sand hill. Well, they got a bunch of them over there. I used to ride my rollerblades all the way from the sand hills over there to all the way downtown over there, and then all the way back when I was like selling weed and stuff. That used to be my little highway. I would take that all the way from one side of town to the next. Yeah, so there's that. This is one of my favorite travel highways on rollerblades. Yeah, I did a lot of stuff on rollerblades, as you guys could tell. So then there's that. This part of the beach, I used to get brought over here by Marcus. Marcus was a dude that when I was on the streets, he would come and pick me up, let me take a shower at his house, and then he would take me by his little dojo, I guess it's called, or kickboxing studio or whatever it is. He did kickboxing. He'd take me by where he would do his kickboxing and stuff, and he would let me watch a couple of the people while he got his stuff ready and stuff, and then he would come out here to the beach right here. We would go right over by that dog beach over there. There's a dog beach over there called Rosie's Dog Beach. We used to go over there. He would take me over there by Rosie's Dog Beach. Now they call it a gay beach, but I don't know. Everything in Long Beach is supposedly gay now, so I don't know. I call it a dog beach. It's a dog beach. Rosie's Dog Beach. We used to go over there, and he would teach me kickboxing and practice kickboxing with me, and that was really influential in my life to teach me how to stick to stuff and have obligation, or to teach me to be a better person, to do better things, because when I was running the streets and stuff, I was always getting fights and stuff, and sometimes I would get in fights, and I was a sore loser, so I would do things crazy. Instead of getting in a fight, I would do something like burn their house down, or no, I'm just joking, not burn their house down. I'd probably be in jail right now. I do crazy stuff, you know what I mean, like break windows, and I just to get a reaction out of them, because I knew that they wouldn't fight me, so I would try to make them fight me. You know what I mean? Like I was never into really picking on people and throwing the first punch, but I knew how to make a person fight me. So There was that I get into a lot of trouble. Marcus would bring me out here and he would be like, "Hey, what are you doing today?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with the homies." He'd be like, "Yeah, how about you jump in the car real quick and we go grab something to eat and then I'll bring you back. You can kick it with your homies." I'd be like, "All right," and I'd jump in the car and then I'd be like, "Fuck," and he'd look at me and start laughing. He'd be like, "What?" I'd be like, "I know I'm not getting out of here for like 2 hours," and he'd start laughing. He'd be like, "But you want to learn kickboxing, right?" And I'd be like, "Yeah," and he'd be like, "All right, then 2 hours is nothing. You got this." And then we drive off, and then fucking he would, after all the kickboxing, he would teach me, and after he went over and did his little studio time in the morning, and like 2 hours later, he would take me to go get something to eat. And he'd be like, "What? I did take you to get something to eat." Like, "Yeah, but we did all this extra shit in the meantime." He'd be like, "You got a lot to do today?" Like, "Dude, I was gonna run the streets all day. Hell yeah, I had a lot to do. I was gonna go get in trouble. Like, you fucking kept me out of trouble, you asshole." Marcus was funny. Marcus was a good guy. That's one of the people I'll never forget. Um, Not just because the kickboxing wasn't nothing. It did help me a lot in life, especially because I like fighting, so it taught me how to win. But and it sparked my interest in other things like throwing knives and disarmament of weapons and other stuff that I like to practice. So yeah, there was that. That was another reason this is one of my favorite areas right here is because of Marcus. Marcus Douglas and Deborah, good people. So there's that. And then there's Dave and Rick. They used to come out here and fish with us and hang out with us, and they're good people. There's a lot of good people by this beach and a lot of good memories by this beach that I have, and that is why I'm always over here by this beach. People got different accusations. They say like, "Oh, he's a West Sider and he's always kidding on the East Side," and then they say, "Oh, it's because that's a gay beach and he's always kidding with the gay people." And like, actually, I don't kick with nobody. I kick it with my damn self. What you guys see me doing right here, right now, sitting here hanging out, watching the sunrise, watching the beautiful women walk by, watching the beautiful beaches, watching people skate and rollerblade and play sports, volleyball, and taking my dog up and down the path and going to the beach. And that's my life. That's what I like doing. And that's what I appreciate. Nothing to do with no gay people. Nothing to do with no weird shit. Not that I have a problem with gay people, but I mean, that's not why I'm over here. And this is not a gay beach. I hate to break y'all's little bubble that you have painted around this beach. But this is actually a family beach. There's a lot of families that come here and play volleyball and go fishing and all kinds of cool stuff. Oh, almost forgot the most important person. So over there is over there is like a little part of the beach that's like a channel, I guess it would be called. All this water goes to the channel over there. And they have little gondolas, like boats and all kinds of cool stuff. Well, there's this dude, Joe Pesci. He was a donut shop maker on 4th and Cerritos, 4th and Alamitos. We used to live above the donut shop on 4th and Alamitos. So I used to fish for people's wallets and stuff out of their pocket when they come out of the bar drunk. I'd had a fishing pole and I lived right above the bar, and we used to take a fishing hook and try to snatch a wallet out of our pocket. Yeah, I was in trouble. I was in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. Okay, so Joe, he was the donut shop owner, right? And he kept hearing about me doing these things to people when they came out the bar and stuff. Instead of tell my grandma, because he knew my grandma would go off. My grandma would put hands on me like my mom. My grandma would go the fuck off. She had a temper. My grandma's Irish, English, and she has a temper. She's also Indian. She got a temper, but so instead of telling my grandma, he told me go fishing with him and stuff, and he would take me fishing all the time and stuff. And he was like a donut shop owner. He had a business to run and stuff, and he took time out of his day to mentor me and to keep me out of trouble instead of telling my aunt, my grandma, me, or my mama, me, and see me get my ass whipped. He would take me out here and go fishing and stuff, and that's one of the first people that taught me how to fish. Actually, is Joe. Joe's such an awesome person. He owned multiple what do you call it? Multiple houses out here, or multiple properties out here that he would rent out. And he also made the donuts for the donut shop in the courthouse, or the store in the courthouse. He would make the donuts for them. So Joe would pick me up, take me to the beach. He's the first one to ever show me how to ghost shrimp pump. That's where you put the little pump in the sand and then you suck up the ghost shrimp and spin them back out on dry sand, and then you collect them. And yeah, he showed me how to do that. He showed me how to make the pump to pump the ghost shrimp. He would do a lot of mentoring for me. He was a good guy, that Joe. He'll always be remembered and respected in my eyes. So there's that. There's another guy, good guy. He used to look out for me, and this beach has done a lot of mentoring for me. Actually, this has been the spot for mentorship. This beach. A lot of people, when they were mentoring me, or they were trying to look out for me and keep me out of trouble, this is where they would bring me, is the beach. So I have in the back of my mind, I guess, or in my memories, I have good memories of me staying out of trouble, and this was always my go-to place to stay out of trouble, or my go-to place to for peace and for a little bit of calm and collectiveness. And there's not much of that no more in Long Beach, but still a little bit of a place of peace and calm and collectiveness. People who usually go to the beach are usually trying to enjoy the beach. They don't really give a damn about you or about what you're going through. They're just trying to enjoy the beach. So that's why I love this beach over here. That's why I love this part of the beach. It has nothing to do with, which is way the hell down there. It's called Broadway, and that's a gay area. And I don't know what it is with people's fascination, but they always try to say that that's why I like to come to this part of the beach. But this part of the beach has nothing to do with that part of the neighborhood over there. That's like saying I like going to the east side because downtown is such a nice place. Like, it don't make no sense, you know what I mean? Like, yes, they do have a gay part, and it's over there. It's way the hell down there, and it's like a whole nother part of town. But it doesn't come all the way down to here to the beach. This is a family part. This is where people come to work out. This is where people come to mentor people. This is where people come to teach people kickboxing or boxing, or run on the beach, you know what I mean? Like that lady running on the beach, walking on the beach, exercise, you know, like getting your mind right. This is that place, and that is why I love this part of the beach. And I hope you guys enjoyed that sunrise with me. Have a great day.